Who's muting who? Colin?
Yeah, sorry, I think I have one of those
Brain
crap
freezes
records.
again.
Yeah. No, my internet's like.
Yeah, it needs a mallet. That's what it needs, mate. So we say good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the show. Sorry for the long pause. It's technical problems at our end, but who gives a crap anyway? Let's say hello to the chat tonight, shall we? We have the Darren Zone in the chat. Hello there. And we also have Jim the Viking. Good evening, Jim. And hail to you. So, where shall we start, eh?
Well, you've been watching something, haven't you?
Watching? I've been reading, mate. I've been reading, not watching. I've been buried my head in a book. And the thing is, I was recommended this by a nice person I follow on Twitter. And the thing is, what she recommended me to read this book, and so I gave it a read, and now I finished it, and I am absolutely amazed. And I will be reading an extract tonight. So we're going to talk about the Hunger Games. So, Colin, what is your recollection of not the book? You said you've seen the film.
Quite interesting. Oddly enough, I mean, it must be an early film because it starred Jennifer Lawrence, and as we know, she was in everything. So,
yes,
not surprising. This was, of course, one where she was actually the first female action hero. So,
yeah,
quite literally.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't getting vibes of Jennifer Lawrence while reading this book anyway.
Well, that's always the thing, I think, is if you've not read, if you have no preconceptions, you're less likely to actually have a picture in your head.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's just I was aware of the Hunger Games when it first came out.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I wasn't aware really of the book particularly. I know they said it was based on a book, but I never had a copy. It's like I never got the copies of Harry Potter when it first came out.
Oh, Harry Potter I did read, so...
Yeah, Harry Potter I'm going to give a complete miss.
They're not... They are what they are.
Yes. Yeah. But... Okay, well, the thing is, reading this, you know, I think when it comes to watching the film, I probably will notice the majority of the difference. Because, spoilers, there is a scene in this book where the dead tributes have been mutated into wolves. And I don't know if that was in the film or not.
I don't remember it.
If anyone's seen the film, please comment, you know. Was there any wolves towards the end?
How did they at the risk of turning this into a book versus film, what happens at the end of the games? How did they resolve? Was there a requirement at the end of the games?
Well, what I got, they both were going to commit suicide.
Why?
They had these lilac berries, and they were going to eat them.
No, not how. Why?
Why? Because it was taking forever for the game makers to end the games. They changed the rules towards the end.
Oh, right. Yeah. They did that in the book because it was supposed to be last man or woman or last person, last contestant standing, and they said no. We're the last team. We're going to survive. We're going to stay all, and that's So that was in the film. I mean, I suspect a lot of it was in the film.
Thank you, Jim, for that. So there's no wolves in it. Well,
I didn't think there would be. That sounds a bit of an odd.
Yeah, I think what it is that sometimes with the authors, they really deep dive into their imaginations.
Yeah, I think one thing you will notice if and when you do watch the films is the one thing that is the visuals.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what her descriptive skills are like, but I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago, there was a lot of fuss about some big celebrity pat on the back do, and I've long been of the opinion that award ceremonies are actually a competition amongst fashion designers.
Yes.
To make celebrities, see who can make celebrities look the most stupid and pay through the nose for it.
Yeah.
But there was thing and like a certain American congresswoman wearing a dress saying "tax the rich" when she's rich, saying "eat the rich," whatever the hell it was. But there were comments on that.
Yeah.
That particular gala was at the Met or whatever it was about looking at the Hunger Games because the capital in the Hunger Games in the contrast is such, and the way it's done in the film is part of the contrast is that the costumes that they wear.
Yeah,
not necessarily in everyday life, but certainly when they sort of dress up in this, absolutely stupid.
I had to watch a clip from the film.
Yeah.
That was related to a scene in the book. In the film, they were going down like what you had seats on either side, and you had the commentators, commentating on which district's coming out and everything. And you had a scene where you had President Snow sitting there and everything. You're looking awkward, and none of that is in the book. It's like they add some specific scenes into the film that weren't described in the book. And another thing is, in the book, they were going down the streets waving to the crowds, right, before they reached the town square. In the film, it was like an arena,
Well, I mean, the thing is, there are differences in telling because you either, I mean, you can have Thing of June.
Yes.
The 1984
one. Yeah.
I mean, I've got two versions. I've got the short and the long version. And the short version, the short version of that, you've got Princess Irulan giving about a 5-minute monologue setting the scene. In the longer version, she's doing it, but you don't see her. It's cartoon drawing. It's drawing illustration of a lot longer explanation. But to set the scene, you've got to do this. Whereas film is by definition a visual medium. So therefore, I suspect what they may have done is they said, well, how are we going to show? I know. We want to show this. So we'll put on these big displays, these extravagant displays, just to show what the difference is. So I suspect some of those things, there may have been, okay, well, the book describes something, but it's not particularly visual. It's something in, it's something that you sort of read. So maybe what they do is they rewrite it, or they write other scenes to show that, to give the same impression, just in a different medium.
Yes.
I can't remember which film it is because I've seen all of them, but I'm not sure if it's. I think it might be the second one.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a scene in one of them where they with the dress designer and Katniss is has this dress, and again, big, very Hollywood fashion display, Oscars sort of thing, makeup. And she has this dress, and then she turns around, it turns to flames, it's holographic flames. And the special effects in the film were very well done, but I can't remember if that was in the first or the second one.
Well, I know in the first book, when they were being paraded down, it was they were dressed in black, but it was like represent cold, but it looked like fake flames were coming off their backs.
That may be that in that case that may well be.
But she did have like a dress when she was being interviewed that I think was. Unless that was towards the end of the book, I can't remember. But I can't really tell the difference at the moment between the film and the book.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're not, I mean, again, obviously that is something which obviously is much more visual. You can describe it, but you'd have to really, really, really good with your descriptions to describe this dress and holographic flames. You could put the words down on a paper, but it wouldn't be quite the same as seeing it with special effects.
That is true.
I suspect to large part that's probably why they did a lot of the choices they made.
Yeah.
With changes from the book, is that it's much easier perhaps to see something on film than to actually give a long, quite complicated description of it.
Yes, that is true. Well, all I can say is that the characters were very interesting. You had Petrie, who was the boy who's. The thing is about Petrie, I'm not too sure with him at the moment. Is it fake love or real love for Candice? And the other guy, I'm trying to remember his name.
I think I know the one you mean. I think it's Peter in the film, but
Gale.
Gale, that's it. Yeah.
Gale, who's a hunting partner.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I think her and Gale was more the item, but they were where they were hunting together, and he taught her a few things, and I think she taught him a few things, and he did mention about let's running away together. Petrie was just the boy who was the son of the baker. And where he, and the thing is that I'm just not too sure on him at the moment. I think I've really got to read into him when it comes to the second book.
Well, yeah. Well, these things that they will be expanded on this. Yeah, they expand some of these things on the second book. So
yeah. Well, I know I've got the first book in front of me here, right? But when it comes to the second book, I think I might have to use an oven glove.
Ha ha.
Ha ha, yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's why I wasn't sure which film that scene was from, of course.
Well, it's called Catching the Fire.
Exactly.
Fire.
So that's why I wasn't sure what the scene with the dress might have been in the second film.
Yeah. Another thing is, you had this little girl in it, who was a part of the Hunger Games named Rue.
Yeah. And
her and Katniss really developed a bond. In the beginning of the Hunger Games, Katniss thought Rue was going to kill her.
Yeah.
But apparently Rue was trying to demonstrate, go away, And Rue is very clever because she was very sneakily and, it was really going from treetop to treetop, through the branches and everything.
Well, Yes, that's something because there's some things that come out of that, especially in the second and the third book and film, which
don't spoil it for me too much.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, which so I've got to be careful what I especially say, remembering what was this in the first one and what was in the second and the third one.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, I want to read an extract from this. I haven't saved the page. It's where she sings Rue's about to die. And she sings her to her death in a way. Right, where is it? Sorry about this, folks. I have really lost. I should have saved it, really.
Yeah. Probably would have been helpful.
Right. It's just before here we are. Aha. Okay. Got it. Right. So page 284. Here we go. Right. I will not be singing this, but I'll just read it to everyone, right? So, as she's singing Rue to her death, or like a go to a lullaby song, as you call it. So, and this really knocked me back. So, here we go. Deep in the meadow, under the willow, a bed of grass, a soft green pillow. Lay down your head and close your sleepy eyes. And when again they open, the sun will rise. Here it is safe, here it is warm. Here the daisies guard you from every harm. Here the dreams are sweet and tomorrow brings them true. Here is the place where I love you. Not literally, Colin. Deep in the meadow, hidden far away, a cloak of leaves, a moonbeam ray. Forget your woes and let your troubles lay. And when again it's morning, they'll wash away. Here it is safe, here it is warm. Here the daisies guard you from every harm. And here's the final lines. Here your dreams are sweet and tomorrow brings them true. Here's the place where I love you. What do you think?
Can't remember that being in the film, but it might have been. Quite a powerful poem, we should say.
I don't know if she was singing it or, it was a song. But apparently you had the Mockingjays, who were like a type of they're songbirds. And Rue taught them to sing in a way, and they were using her and Candice were using it as like communication. So going through this, Rue's death was unbelievable, and I don't know what it's going to be like when I watch it. When I watch the film.
Well, no, you can't, can you? I mean, it's going to be an emotional thing. But the thing is, you're going to know it's coming.
Yes.
So there's that. You will know that particular scene is coming. So it won't be quite as shocking.
Yeah.
For you, perhaps as perhaps it was in the book.
Yeah. Yeah. And another thing is about this book, there's no mention of the film.
Well, the book came out before the film. When was that book? When was the book printed?
I think this is a reprint, actually. doesn't actually say, but it's got 2021 on it, so I think this is a reprint.
Well, in that case, yeah, that's going to be reprint, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, after the films came out. Then again, it may be because the film's been out. The film's been out, and they've been out for a while by then. So maybe what they decided it wasn't really.
Yeah, it could be. But no, it's just a bit. This has really got me interested back into reading.
Good.
There's a Doctor Who book I have got to get back into called The Dalek Generation because it's been years since I've read that one. Catching the Fire, I'm really going to need an oven glove to read that. But I've got to admit, I think this will help with my writing in a way when it comes to explain characters and everything.
I'll give you some ideas to see how other people did things and what you can do.
Yeah. So it's all I can say is to everyone out there, I do recommend it, but buy it if you wish to buy it. I'm not saying that go out and buy it altogether, but give the book a read first or watch the film first. It's totally your choice.
Well, I mean, the interesting thing is there's some interesting things in that, of course, in that I notice a few sort of themes that in it which are somewhat perhaps a little bit relevant to the present to present day.
We don't know too much about that, Colin.
No, but I know I'm going to say in that it's a case of okay, well, oh look, Chinese do something to distract you from what's happening. That's what the whole thing's about, isn't it? It's about distract. You know, the distract. I mean, do you remember what the name of the? I can't remember if it's ever stated that it is America or not, but it's all American in the film. What do you remember? What the name of the land is called?
Pan Am.
Right.
Pan Am.
Do you know what that means?
Yes, named after American Airlines.
No, that's Pan Am.
Oh, Pan Am. Pan Am. Okay, explain.
Pan Am is Latin.
Gotcha.
There is a very, very, very famous Latin phrase. Panem at circusem. Bread and circuses.
Right. Okay.
Right. Food, diversion. What you need to control the population, give them food, entertain them.
Yeah.
What do we get in the Hunger Games? Well, what are the Hunger Games?
Well, they're a fight for survival in a way.
So remind you of anything from the people that might have spoken Latin?
Not particularly, because when I thought about the Hunger Games, I was thinking Battle Royale, which is a great Japanese film.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Now, does it remind you of anything that people who spoke Latin?
You're talking about the Romans?
Yes.
You're talking about the Colosseum?
Yep.
The gladiator. Yeah. Yes.
Yep. That bread and circus is basically refers to that is what is the state provided, because they provided food and they provided the circuses, the entertainment.
Yeah.
And that is basically what in a way part of what the Hunger Games is. I mean, the Hunger Games is a combination of entertainment for the masses and a way to keep down the colonies that had revolted.
Good point.
And that's what they're there for. They're there to keep the colonies in line.
Yeah. Well, okay. Right. I just want to bring up one thing about this.
Yeah.
Is that President Snow wasn't mentioned that much in this.
Right.
He was more like a background character, really.
Yeah.
There was mention about District 13 got destroyed. But frankly, it was just telling it through the eyes of Candice, you know.
Oh, yeah, exactly, yeah.
And another thing is that, yeah, you got districts 1 to 12, right?
Yeah.
And it's like the higher districts are the better ones than the lower. And District 12 was like not the better end of the joke, but you know, the downtrodden, because it was, you know, there were coal miners.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, you know, the capital needs coal. And the way they were describing the way the capital was, you know, it's like people who live in the capital are force fed, you know, all this information, you know, but they're blinded because it's pretty and shiny, you know.
I refer to my earlier comment about present day.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but I'll tell you something else as well. It is, and you might want to reach for that button of yours there, but Rome Rome depended on Egypt for a very important thing.
Right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen,
Food.
here's 20
That's
minutes
it. I'm
in
not going to do
history.
20 minutes on it. All I'm saying is, don't remember reading any of it, but I'm reasonably certain that Suzanne Collins had quite a bit of inspiration from Rome.
Right. Well, if you want to talk about it, you don't need to do 10 minutes would be better.
Well, no, all I'm saying is a simple situation.
Right. Okay.
You've got they have the gladiatorial games to keep the population happy, right?
Yeah.
They rely on their colonies,
yes,
outer places for food and the like, and they find a way to keep them down. They don't. I mean, tribute. The very fact that they call these kids tributes.
Yeah.
All right. What's tribute? Something you pay to a conqueror.
Yes, that
to
is
keep
true.
them happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Think Flash Gordon, where they had
stories.
to give tribute.
There are a lot of layers to, you know, that you can find a lot of layers in.
Yeah, but think Flash Gordon, where you had, you know, the court of Ming the Merciless, and that give tributes to him.
Yeah, same sort of thing.
Yeah.
The difference being in this particular case, of course, they did it. They combined the tributes with the gladiatorial games.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, in a way, Susanna Collins has done her research on this.
Oh yeah, I'm sure she has. Oh, yeah. I said, I mean, I don't recall reading any, but then again, to be honest, I never actually looked into it. It's just that I recognise some of the parallels there.
Yeah.
How much that was deliberate on her part, I don't know.
Nice one, Jim. Nice one. We'll be coming back to smuggle it out one day. The thing is,
start flashing it, we know we're going to be in trouble.
The thing is, Colin, is that with this book, it is gave me a lot of interest, right? It's gave me a lot of interest. I know, you know, saying about tribute, I have learned, you know, what you were coming out with, what you're trying to explain. You know, I can really understand. It's just, but the thing is about the characters. Candice, right? A teenage girl who, offered herself up as a tribute instead of her little sister.
Yeah.
You got the baker's son, who I'm not too sure with at the moment. You've got Gail, her fellow hunting partner. You've got the You got Hamish, is it?
Hamish.
Hamish, the original winner of the Hunger Games. For District 12, who's a complete utter drunk. You've got Pre. Is it? No, not Pre.
Something like that.
Ethel Trifle, that's it. Or Ethel, who's dressed up like God knows what.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Played by the one who directed Charlie's Angels and also other things.
What is she?
I'm trying to remember her name because she did the film Cocaine Bear recently. See, Hamish was, not scary, but he was like a downtrodden, he was famous and all this and that. And I think, compare where all the other tributes from District 12 have been slaughtered over the years in the games, it's like he's given up altogether. And then Candice comes along and wins the games. And, and she is a feisty one, and so is he. Also, how can I put this? You've got the dressmaker, I've got his name, who was, I know who he's played by because he was an American singer. But yeah, you've got the career tributes in it. I think from District 1 and that.
Yeah.
Right, bunch of bastards they are.
Well, yeah.
They form together in a pack, and they end up they were trying to pick off each tribute one by one. Because in the beginning of the games, it was a free-for-all, right? And Hamish turned around and said to Katniss before she went into the games, whatever you do, go and find water. Right? Go and find water when you start. Which she tried, and then she ended up finding a pond, and then she ended up finding a stream. And then she knew about this giant lake, and the thing is, the lake was what you call the place where the career tributes hanged out, and they stuck all the supplies there. Until Katniss blew it up. You had another one who was a sneaky tribute called Foxace. I can't remember her actual name, but I know they kept calling her Foxace. And the thing is, Foxace kept, stealing stuff from the supplies until she did one stupid thing and ate a Nylock berry and killed herself. So she didn't think of that one.
No.
It, and the thing is, Petrie, he teamed up with the, with the careers to begin with. And then they stabbed him in the back.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But another thing is that I'm really getting lost in my words here. Him going on about him and Candice are being star-crossed lovers.
Yeah.
Was that really necessary?
I suppose it depends what it was trying to get from them, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I had started on book 2 a little, but it just feels like that is because it kept getting mentioned over and over again. Was it fake or not? Because it was trying to make it look good for the Capitol. Also getting sponsors, because during the games they were getting packages sent to them, but they had to raise money to get these packages.
Yeah.
And All I can say is that Katniss never started off in the games with a bow and arrow until she nicked it off of somebody else.
Did they actually take? I can't remember if they took weapons in with them originally or not.
There were weapons in the beginning, but it was like trying to get hold of them, you know, because
so they didn't. They did. Yeah. Yes, I thought so. That was the case. They didn't take them in.
Yeah. So I think she managed to pick up some. Well, she picked up a bag really, and she was like just trying to find water. But she kept sleeping in the trees most of the time, and like, you know, trying to not reveal herself too much. And she really struggled hard in the first, you know, God knows how many days to start off with. So, frankly, that's what it is. It's just, you know, it. But I am really tripping on my words now, Colin, because the thing is, I don't know what else to say.
Well, you enjoyed the book, and that's the important thing.
I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed this immensely, and I'd like to thank her for recommending me this book. But now I'll go into the second one, and frankly, I don't know what to do with the first one. I'll probably give it to a friend to read.
Why not? I mean, if you're gonna recommend it to people to read, yeah. You could, why not? Just you got someone else who would be interested in reading.
Yes.
Or charity shop, or
no, maybe a charity shop once I finish the entire series, so they've got the whole collection.
But yeah, there's that.
Yeah. No, but overall, it's how can I? You said to me the other day when I was like talking about it, is that it's first person perspective. No, what did you actually call it? Because it's similar to what I, put in my book.
Present tense.
That's it, present tense.
I mean, that's, in other words, the action is ongoing. You don't you don't at any point first person means present is basically okay, and everything is always in that. It's never you did do that, it's you are doing it, and that's something that it's not a style that I particularly like myself.
Yeah,
it's not a style I find easy to get to get on with myself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's doable, but I find that as a constant thing, I find it takes me out of it. But then that's because I'm used to reading. That's probably because I'm used to reading stuff that's written descriptively as past tense.
Yeah,
which is fair enough for listening.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's talk about my book for a second. Okay, Gazulaman's N1 History of a Legend. When I first introduced it to you, what did you actually think?
I can't remember that far back.
No, not that. No, I'm talking about like the way the narrative was, because I wrote it as a guy telling a story to a woman.
Yeah, it was a reasonably standard.
Yeah.
Storytelling device, but it's standard because it works. It's very effective. I'm not putting it down. It's an effective. It's a very effective device.
Yeah.
And if you're doing that, that is why that is the sort of thing which tends to work better if you are going to have to go my other real. If you are going to go first person.
Yeah.
Because there's differences in styles. I mean, the thing is, if you, that's standard thing. If you're inside the person's head, you have access to their internal monologue, to what's happened to them.
Yeah.
You know, for example, if you've got if you don't, if you've got the if all you've got is the this happened and then this happened and that, you know, you don't have you have to find a way to describe that.
Yeah.
There's various ways of doing those things, and some I think are more effective than others.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the thing is about my first book. It's what it's flashbacks and set in present tense, right? The second one, was about but we're still writing it, aren't we? Second one is more like present tense, but set in the past, isn't it?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's where tense was the rest of it comes in, because if you're writing something that happened in the past, chances are you're going to be using past tense. Yeah. I mean, that's why it worked so well in the first book, is that you literally got bits where it's the easiest way to let the audience know, clue the audience into where you are. Is okay. Well, actually, we're here in the present tense, in the present day.
Yeah.
And here we find our heroes doing really, really bad Richard Attenborough impressions, or David Attenborough impressions.
I thought you was doing Alan Wake. Alan Wake.
No, it sounded more like Alan Wicked, didn't it?
Yeah,
it was meant to be.
Good evening and welcome to the show.
That was actually meant to be more of a David Attenborough. But
can I just say, I'm gonna go off topic here. The Hunger Games featuring Alan Wicker. Narrating it.
I could see it. I could see
they did do Wicker Island with Monty Python.
Was that Monty Python? Was that the Goodies?
No, it was Monty Python who done Wicker Island.
Oh, okay.
But you can't find a clean clip anywhere.
I know the Goodies did a Wicker homage as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the Hunger Games. Anyone who's watching this on the playback, try and give that a try. The Hunger Games, but Alan Wicker style, with a load of Alan Wickers.
Yes.
But anyway, going back to my books in a way about, not spoiling too much, people. How can I be? So you got, present tense with flashbacks. You got past tense that set in present tense. I'm really stumbling on my words.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, that's the problem. Is that's what I always find to is okay. What do you do? Because something is happening, but it's happening.
Yeah,
but it's already happened.
Yes,
from the point of view of where you're being told.
Yeah. Well, the thing is about this is that you've got, flashback scenes in it, and there are mentions, but it's like going back and forth with present tense, and so. But anyway, shall we go over to the chat, Colin? See what they got to say.
Why not?
Okay, so do you want to bring it up?
Which one?
He's trying to find the comments, people.
No. I'm just reading it now. I've never read the book. Oh, the Hunger. I'll take it. You've the topic is the Hunger. Well, the topic was originally the Hunger Games, Kelly. Yeah, I've never tried. Yeah, I've not tried reading the books. I've seen the films. I agree with Stacker. It's the films, at the risk of spoiling, because Alex only read the first book. He hasn't seen any of the films. So he doesn't know how it ends.
I'm willing to bugger off if you want to tell him.
No. Because all I said is, the problem is the third and the fourth films suffer from, to a degree, the same thing that the seventh and eighth Harry Potter movies.
I know where
suffer
you're coming from. Yeah, because
they're both two parts of big books. I don't know how big a book Mockingjay is compared to Hunger Games or Catching Fire. I know that Deathly Hallows is a fucking great smack someone around their head with it volume.
So bigger than, like, thicker than this, and you could
it's a lot thicker.
Right.
I mean the Harry Potter,
was that J.K. Rowling taking a piss?
Well, no, that the Harry Potter books got thicker as they went along, which is why you get less and less of the books in the films. They had make more and more changes, to the point that the seventh book, there were only seven Harry Potter books, one for each year at secondary school.
Gotcha.
But because the seventh book was so thick, they split it into two films. They've done that several times. They did it. I mean, it's not as thick as Dune, but it's a thick book. So as I said, I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I know what you mean. So I mean, I think they split it, and I don't know. I mean, I think maybe they had a lot of things they wanted to come through. I don't know how thick the book is compared to, the first one and the second one.
Well, I've seen a copy of the third book, right, Mockingjay. I've seen it in the shop because I had to order in Catching Fire because I think that book's so popular. But frankly, it's the same size.
Well, there you go. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I think there's also differences in the story progresses, and the story progresses.
Yeah,
I kind of thought that with the second one, I almost got the idea she was having to think, okay, how do I retell the same story again? How far have you got into the second one?
How far?
Yeah,
not far.
Oh, okay.
I'm still treading on it at the moment.
Oh no, it's okay. I'm saying they set up because they
I'm still
changed the rules.
On the second chapter yet.
They changed the rules again.
Oh, thank you for spoiling it for me.
No, I said again because they've changed rules before.
Sorry, got it. Now that is interesting. I felt the split for the two cynical reasons to keep the franchise going and sell more cinema tickets. Yeah, you got a good point there.
Well, I'd have to check on the timings, but I would wonder how much of that was a Harry Potter phenomenon. I can't remember. Which came out first. I genuinely can't remember if Deathly Hallows came out before Mockingjay.
It did really.
Like I said, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't want to, suggest something there which isn't the case. I mean,
hold on. Hold on. Let me check. The Deadly Hallows was 2011 with part 2, right?
Wow. Okay, wasn't it?
Mockingjay was 2015.
So there you go. Yeah. So there may have been part of that, but then again, sorry, how many pages are there in your copy of?
Judging by what I read up to the last section.
No, your copy of Hunger Games. What number is the last page of the book?
458.
Wow.
Yeah, I was surprised about that.
That's probably about twice the book count of a little volume called The Hobbit. And they managed to stretch that into 3 movies.
Yeah.
Now, that was definitely sick. Oh, bums on seats money making.
I've never read The Hobbit. I think I might give it a try.
I've not. I read The Lord of the Rings when I was a kid. I mean, my copy of The Lord of the Rings is about.
Yeah, but usually in films you'll add more to it and then.
Rough, no, because I'm not got it near me. I think it's maybe 3.5 inches thick.
Right.
And the paper is extremely thin.
Gotcha.
So that is well over 1,000 pages.
Right.
As I said, I mean, the Lord of the Rings is actually it's actually in 3 volumes and 7 books.
7 books.
Yeah, there were 7. There were 3. The volumes are Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, Return of the King. That's what you quite often see it down as if you see them as split separately because that's the way they were done. Yeah. But books 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There were, if I remember right, it's split down into 7 actual books. Right. It's split or 7 sections. It's not 7 chapters because obviously there's loads of chapters within each book. But it's way Tolkien did it. He broke it down into 7 sections, shall we say? Split over 3 books.
Yeah.
So say how many books is Lord of the Rings? Well, it depends. It's 1, 3, or 7, depending on how you want to count it. But yeah, I mean, I read that. I never read that. I read that when I was a teenager. I never read The Hobbit. I came back again to try to reread The Lord of the Rings when I was when the films first came. When I first watched the films, I couldn't get into it. Oh no, I can't face this. It started so slow. But no, I've never read The Hobbit either. It's very different book. I understand.
Yes, yeah. I might give The Hobbit a read.
Well, the thing is, I say, I mean, it's not. I mean, I do know that it's got one of the most famous first lines ever, which is "In the hole in the ground there lived a hobbit." And unless that's an urban myth, but yeah, I found that they do that a lot. They seem to do that a lot. I mean, I get to that point. I mean, I have to say it doesn't work. Splitting a book film into does not work for me. I've had enough. I got to the habit way back when I used to video record things, right? I'd video the last episode of a series, and if it came out, and then I wouldn't watch the last episode, I scoot through to the end, and if it came up to be continued, that video went on the shelf until the next series came out.
Good point.
Right? I did the same for films. I did not see Deathly Hallows Part 1 until I could get Deathly Hallows Part 2 at the same time and watch them both.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Ditto The Hunger Game. Ditto. Why it took me quite a while to actually watch the first of Danny Villeneuve's Dune series, because even though I know how the story ends, I really wanted to make sure that the second movie was going to come out first.
Can I ask you a question? Is Dune worth watching? No, not worth reading. I meant, sorry.
It's a heavy read, and I must admit, I'll start that one again. Dune is a thick, heavy book. Is a thick book.
Right.
Some very interesting ideas in it. You've then got Dune. No, you've got Children of Dune and Dune Messiah, both of which are quite thin, certainly compared to the original novels. And that's the original Dune trilogy. That's what he first came out with. Then you've got God Emperor of Dune, again, is a big, thick book. This 4, and I can't off the top of my head remember what the other 3 Dune, 2 or 3 are called, but they're quite thick books. But then on top of that, you've got a lot. If you want to, you can get lost in the Dune universe, because Brian Herbert, the author's son, I forgot me, Herbert. No, yeah, Brian Herbert, Frank Herbert's son, Brian. Frank Herbert was the author. Brian Herbert and someone Anderson have written a lot of fill-ins here and there. They've written a lot of. They've done a George R.R. Martin and written a House of the Dragon thing. They've written things leading up to the formation of it. That's why there's a series supposedly coming out.
Yeah.
About the Bene Gesserit.
Yeah.
Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with that except it's being made in 2022, 2023. So it's almost certainly going to be a feminist man-hating fantasy. Which is not, it has, but yeah, the thing is, June is one that I think you can read the first one, and it ends, and then the second and third ones, they did actually do a June in 2001. They did a June adaptation TV. They also did a June adaptation following on with that, with some of the same cast and some different cast, of Children of June and June Messiah.
Gotcha. Right.
But
so, frankly, to read June, I've really got to bury my head in it. Okay, so I'll get that in listening.
Yeah,
well, I've seen the film anyway.
Yeah, no, what I say is June is a really clever, really good book.
Mm-hmm.
It was written in the 70s, so 60s or 70s, so it's of that time. You can read it. You don't have to read it. It ends. It has an ending. You do not have to read anything else. All the stuff is explained. It's referred to backstory. I think. So yeah, you can read it. Just like you can read it and be done. And that's it. Done. Okay, I've read June. Excellent. Always wanted to read that book. Done. I'm not going to bother with. You don't have to go on for the others.
Right. Okay.
If it's one of the ones, if you get into the universe,
right.
There are a lot of others.
Right. All right. Now, going back to my book for a minute, right? Oh, this is interesting. Kelly's just posted here and all.
Yeah.
I like how Harry Potter broke up the last book in two. It worked, but they should have done it with hard blood prints, and this was much of the story in the film made little sense. Yes, I can agree with that, man. Right. So anyway, back to my book. Do you think? Yes, we know Jennifer Lawrence was in it.
I thought it was the only film ever that Jennifer Lawrence wasn't in.
Yeah, good point. Well, do you think it's right? What I've done is that I'm doing 5 books and then cutting it off from there.
Yes.
Right.
Because you've got a. I mean, I think the way you're talking about doing it, and you talked to me about doing it.
Yeah.
At the risk of, I'm not spoiling anything. It's great. You said what you want to do. You've got your core storyline. You want to follow your story through, and you're leaving plenty of background things. If anybody else wants to come in when you're ready for it to be done, if they want to come in and actually write their own fill-in things. That's great. That's a fantastic way of doing it because you've got it, and you've got it done, and you've already got your storyline. You know where you want it to finish. You've not written all of them yet. He says it's spoiling, but you know where you want to finish. So you've got.
I've written the ending, haven't I?
Book 5. You've got a concrete ending in mind. You just working out now how you're getting there. So it's great because you've got a specific series. You've got a set. You know what you want to do, and you know you've got an ending in mind. So you're going to hit now. When you've got that end, you can say, okay, that's it. I'm done. The stories, that's my story told. Anybody that wants to fill those stories, fill them in. So, I think you're doing it the right way.
Because the thing is, back to the Hunger Games. Unlike the Star Wars, where they're spinning off everything going.
Oh, yeah.
The Hunger Games, they haven't really done any. The only thing they've done at the moment is the prequel. They haven't done any spin-offs to any other characters.
Well, the thing is, I think the way she wrote the Hunger Games,
there
isn't that much space for. She's done it quite a bit in a way. The Tolkien did Middle Earth.
Yeah.
Although more so, there are very little with the 3 story you've got there. I don't think there's a great deal that you can do there, filling in other characters. I mean, yeah, as I understand it, what they're doing is they're doing it with Snow's backstory.
Yes.
And they'll probably film that if Donald Sutherland needs another paycheck. Although I de-age Donald Sutherland. But yeah,
they younger,
well, yeah, exactly. But yeah, you'll do it. But yeah, they're doing that. But I'm not sure there's necessarily. I mean, what you could probably. I mean, the problem is, a lot of what you could do with it is because of the second and third books.
Yeah.
Which obviously, since you haven't read them or haven't seen the films yet, because the way the story develops, things that happen in the story, there is you could tell side stories of other people doing these things. You could end up doing previous Hunger Games or something, but then you'd end up stuck the way Todd Bloody McCaffrey did on Pearl, and just write the same interminable story again and again.
Gotcha.
But I think the problem is with the story of the Hunger Games. There's not that much. Yeah, exactly. So darker. There's not that much lore to get into.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's other pieces, things that happen later on. Obviously, they refer to the wider world, and there's a bigger world going on out there. And there's other people involved as well that you could tell other stories set during those events. But that's about it. It's not something that's really going to give itself to, I don't know, 2 live action sequels, 4 CGI animated sequels, and a CGI kids show. Unlike probably the best novel ever written, Starship Troopers. That's my obligatory Heinlein reference.
There we go. Well, there are mentions of the previous Hunger Games that were in it.
Yeah.
It's just mentions. Another thing is that all I know is that there was a war, and then Panem came about.
Yeah.
We don't know about any other of the countries around the world.
No,
because this is just set within North America.
Yeah, well, exactly. I said, I mean, you could, yeah, obviously you could, but the thing is, you could set stories anywhere else in that world. But as you said, you've got whatever the war was that you could fill out, filling out any of the previous Hunger Games, but we know what the Hunger Games are now. What will be the point of filling those ones out? Would there be any point to them? Would it actually be worth anybody doing anything? Is there anything worth doing with previous Hunger Games?
So, frankly, you just leave it to your imagination in a way to fill in the blanks.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, it depends. I mean, yeah, you could have Hunger Games UK, but there's no guaranteeing that the UK, for it as an example, obviously, the obvious example for us, because a lot of us are here, most of us are either here or in the States, that Britain went the same way. I mean, this is the thing you've got to look at Page Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
On the rare occasions they go outside of North America,
yeah,
most of it's gone pretty much the same way, but different. There's no guaranteeing that's going to happen. Whatever it was, there's no guaranteeing that you're going to have a capital. Let's say Manchester, rather than London. And then you're going to have district one in Scotland, and there's no guaranteeing that the UK would have split up on it, would have handled things the same ways. So you've got a lot of leeway, but you've got too much because you can tell stories. But okay, so they wouldn't be connected to the Hunger Games at all, other than there was this war which led to this. So you could perhaps talk about the war. You could come up with ideas for other people, but the first thing in order to have any validity at all, you'd need to check with Suzanne Collins, see if she's got any ideas what happened out there and what she thinks about it.
It's all in her imagination, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, does she have a wider world that she's imagined, that she's come up with?
Yeah.
In which things can happen, or does she just have this is the particular set, these 3 books, these are it, the stuff referred back to, and okay, I don't even know if she's involved. I pretty much hopefully she is involved in this prequel they're doing. But okay,
actually, she has wrote it.
Oh, okay, that's fair enough. But okay, so that's done, and that's it. You don't, if that's all she's done in it, and she doesn't
the prequel says here, Susanna Collins, a ballad of songbirds and snakes.
Oh no, okay, no, that's fine. But all I'm saying is she's done that, but she doesn't need to have done any more than that. She's done the story she wants to tell, and that's it. So pretty much anything else you could do would almost be okay. Well, it's completely nothing divorced to the main series.
Yeah. Well,
Sadako, are you talking about the Hunger Games or 10 years in the real future?
What America was. Yeah. Well, all I can say is that it is a fantastic book. I
remember I told you my youngest niece read it.
Yeah.
When she was, I don't know when they came out. Possibly when they came out. No. I'm not sure. You said that one of yours was 2001, didn't you? No, 2011. So I'm not. I don't know when they came out. So I don't know when my niece read. But I remember my sister saying she read it, and she found some of the things about the kids killing each other, etc. She found them quite horrifying.
Well, it is a book for teenagers, really.
It's meant to be. And it's intended to be shocking.
Part of it is that my book, they'll probably have a heart attack.
But some of that is there it's written for teenagers, young adults. It's meant to be shocking. It's meant to be. It's this thing, because the thing is, it's like when you write something for kids or teenagers, young adults, they don't see the world the same way that adults do, because all the usual stuff plays up for all the rest of it. So a kid. Why we've got a prime example that's gone a lot younger than that. One of our now the second member of my reenactment group is a young, and when I say young, I don't think she's 4 or 5 now. Really nice girl, but one of our women was teaching her how to knit, and the description she used was stab them, strangle them, and throw them off the walls. This is how she was teaching a 4-year-old to knit: stab, round the neck, throw them off the wall. Kids like this sort of thing, which because it's not as real necessarily to them as adults. They don't actually pick up all of that, which an adult can look back at and get something. That's why adults get something completely different out of exactly the same thing on screen or in a book than kids do. You know, I mean, you come that, you know, we look at that. I mean, you know, a teenager probably looks at that and sees it. Certainly, the first one at least as an adventure story for Katniss, right?
Yeah.
Adults read that and look at it as a horrific dystopia, right? Because adults are going to look at it, they're going to take in the wider themes, they're going to see other things on it that kids don't see, or at least, don't see. They may absorb them, they may click in the back of their brain, but they don't actually see them. Yeah. Yeah, you could be wrong there, Sadako. It's these days, you might not be wrong there, but it's yeah, exactly. I mean, it's do I mean, you look at Captain Scarlet,
right?
Captain Scarlet. You imagine what Captain Scarlet. We all know Captain Scarlet. We all love Captain Scarlet. Can you imagine that same setting and the same story written for adults? You know, just as much death.
Frankly, with Captain Scarlet, it was going down the more the mature route because they were riding off the back of Thunderbirds.
Yeah, but what I'm saying though is it's still written. It's still a kids show, right? But there's violence in it. I mean, they kill someone every week. They come and get. Yes, I say you imagine that written from an adult's perspective, there'd be a lot more violence.
Yeah.
Same story, same setting. Because adults would see different things in it.
Yes, that is true. Because the thing is, when they made Captain Scarlet,
he wanted to go down to Captain Scarlet.
when he wrote Captain Scarlet and like brought it back, he wanted to like go away from the world of Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
Right. Because Thunderbirds was more of a kids show, family friendly kids show.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
Because it was saving people's lives. But Captain Scarlet was going down the darker path, right?
Yeah.
But I can understand, change the format. It's the same with UFO.
Yeah, UFO wasn't a kids series.
No, it was more targeted.
UFO was very definitely a young adult and adult series.
Yeah.
Very much so.
And the thing is, it's like it with Joe 90 is supposed to be a kids show, but how many people did he kill and all of that?
Don't know.
The thing is that you just are going like, down a darker path with Captain Scarlet. Captain Scarlet set in the Hunger Games, now that would look peculiar.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Sadako, you are. I mean, especially, I mean, I have a potentially controversial opinion. There was one show and one show only, which I think the remake was just as good as the original, and that was the new Captain Scarlet. I like the CGI Captain Scarlet.
I have been watching that.
I think they did it very well. And some of the things, if you've seen it, that actually happened towards the end of the second series, they actually flesh it out and they actually they flesh it out a bit more. They make it a better of a storyline. Yeah. Well, yeah, you're right, mate. You're right, Sadako. They are. In fact, in some ways, in some ways they are. They're supposed to be thrilling because that's an adventure, and the fact my sister and I, my sister's 3 years younger than me, so we both grew up with Jerry Anderson, right? I was not a particular fan of the Thunderbirds remake. I didn't really like the changes they made to the format. They
You talking about the 2015 or the 2004 monstrosity?
Oh God, I haven't seen that. I refuse to see that. Although I understand that, I understand it's got possibly the best movie line ever. I understand Lady Penelope's being menaced by the bad guys. He's got guns. You know, we've got guns. You may have a guns. I've got a Parker. At which point he comes in and takes them out.
Yeah.
But no, the CGI animated. Oh, because Thunderbirds was originally supposed to be half an hour long anyway, and ITC said no, we want an hour, which was stretched out. But I personally thought that the CGI Thunderbirds was much more of a kids. It was starting to be where people have forgotten how to make kids shows.
Yeah, because they were aiming it for the Saturday morning kids programming.
Yeah, but their idea of kids shows is okay. Well, the kids must be front and center. And my idea of a really good kid show is the Tomorrow People. And that is a hill I will stand on and let you die trying to knock me off it.
Do you want me to leave for a little while you're talking about the Tomorrow People?
No, I'm just saying that's fine. I'm just saying that's my idea. You know, these days, kid shows these days, they seem to either talk down to kids or they have to be the kids. I saw that sort of science coming. I didn't like a lot of changes in Captain Scarlet.
So we're not talking Teletubbies, isn't it?
No, I never saw the Teletubbies. It was after I watched a kid shows.
All right, Bill and Ben then.
Yeah, hey, do not diss Bill and Ben.
Magic Roundabout.
Yeah, as long as you're talking to Jasper Carrot, Magic Roundabout.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the discussion I had with my sister.
Watch with Mother?
No, it was about Thunderbirds and Captain Scott. And her point of view was the one thing they shouldn't do as that they should have done. The one thing she didn't like about the new Captain Scarlet was it was CGI, not puppets. Now, I take her point, and puppets was definitely part of the charm of that era of Jerry Anderson.
Yeah, but he didn't want to work with puppets in the first place.
Well, yes, I know, but the thing is, I entirely take her point. But I would say puppets went out of fashion. Technology moved on where CGI has taken the place of puppets in some ways when it's for a full length thing. Then again,
right. Hold you there, Kelly. I am gonna sit you through it one day.
It was there were so many memes you just wouldn't get then. Oh dear. You really wouldn't understand why people my age thought that the didn't know what the number zero was. We thought the number zero was the number between 1 and -1 was Thunderbirds I'll go.
Yeah, it's like
because that's how you come back.
I know. For our American audience, there's a sketch out there that I'll put a link in the description of the show called Super Thunderstinker, which was Peter Cook and W. Moore who took the piss.
Well, let me put it this way. Thunderbirds. The modern Thunderbirds, in some ways, is Team America.
Yeah.
Team America was inspired by Thunderbirds.
Yes.
All the way through. If you remember, also, there's one of the best homages to puppet shows, and it must have been Jerry Anderson inspired. One of the best clip shows, not clip.
You're not talking about that 5-minute sequence from Stargate SG-1, are you?
Yes, I am. Stargate SG-1 200. Best self-aware take the piss out. But there's one where they do the puppets, and the puppets walk through the Stargate. And they get through the Stargate, and the strings have been cut.
I know.
That is so...
And Teal turns up and laughs his head off.
Yeah, that is so. I mean, you could see they were having so much fun right there. I mean, although actually, my favourite of that, right? Exactly, Sadaka. My favourite bit of 200, and I think it's a fantastic all the way through. No, is the one where Vala is pitching ideas. Yeah, Vala is pitching ideas, and he goes, "That's Star Trek. That's the Wizard of Oz." Oh, you know. And then she the thing is, because by that time, of course, there was a lot of I don't say complaints is necessarily the right word, but that Farscape was becoming that Stargate was becoming Farscape, because two of the main lead characters, of course, were Stargate actors. And she does the Stargate, and they very cleverly turned around who played what character to the point that Ben Browder wasn't his Stargate character. But the best bit of that was she did all this, and then my turn says, "Nope, never heard of that one." That I thought was the best. Such a self-aware, take the mickey out of themselves thing for the writers and the actors to have done.
Yeah.
But no, and I mean, Kelly, the thing is, if you're not aware of Thunderbirds, consider that it was a kids show, and every episode was about one thing and one thing only: rescuing people. It's called International Rescue. This is a kids show. Actually, yes, there is an international rescue organization,
right?
And the people that founded it in honor of Thunderbirds, or named it in honor of Thunderbirds.
Right, Kelly, talk to me on Twitter. I'm going to arrange a watch along, not live, but me and you, including Colin, to sit down and watch one of my episodes of Thunderbirds. We're going to sit you through it for an hour.
You're beginning to regret admitting you've never seen it now, aren't you?
Well, you can watch one episode, but the thing is, you don't need to watch the entirety. Well, the entire series.
Yeah, that's another thing, is you can watch them in almost any order.
Well, they were made in order, but not necessarily in the right order. Shown in the right order.
Yeah, but I mean, the only one you probably need to watch Fire in the Sky.
Trapped in the Sky, not Fire in the Sky.
That's what I said, didn't I?
No, you said Fire in the Sky. That's a film.
What was the first one then?
Trapped in the Sky.
What's it? Okay. Yes, exactly. So yes, yeah. But because that's the one where they first International Rescue first come on the scene, no one knows who they are. Right?
Yeah, but they did a prequel to it, I know, which I got up there on my DVD shelf.
Did they? Which was the prequel?
Introducing the Thunderbirds, right? That came back out in 2015, where a group of people who did the documentary decided to do a crowdfunding and actually made it.
Wow.
Yes, and I would know I got a big. What do you mean find it? You can find it on ITVX.
That's what I said. I'm going to have to look for it.
Shame I can't post you a copy.
I was going to say something, and I forgot. It was about Thunderbirds. So it was on topic. Kid shows. I mean, the thing was this one. I know what. There's an ongoing joke from sort of people of PJ my generation. If you're in, we used to say, if you're in trouble, find a policeman. Right? No,
yeah.
If from people who grow up watching the TV, I did my generation. We always used to say there are 6 words that will save your life. Mm-hmm. You need 6 words. You need 3. If you get in trouble, if you get trapped somewhere, make sure you've got a radio with you, because you've got 3 words you need. The 3 words you need are calling International
Rescue. Yeah.
All right. You do this message, you send out your story, and someone, you don't know it, but someone says 3 more words, which means you're going to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Thunderbirds, I'll go. And I'm sorry, I was watched Thunderbirds when it was first broadcast, and I just choked up slightly at that. It's just it's one of those things in your childhood. It was that that big an influence. You do these things. I mean, we kidded. I mean, we knew it was fiction. We didn't think it was real. But it was that seminal that we're still talking about it 60 odd years later.
Ain't it weird tonight? We've gone from the Hunger Games straight into Thunderbirds.
Well, not quite straight into, but yeah.
Well, it was Captain Scarlet in between, but
yeah. Well, the thing is, I mean, it's
the Hunger Games puppet style.
No, bring it back then. Do you think that people are going to be talking about the Hunger Games in 50 years' time?
Depending if it's incorporated into the National Film Registry in America, probably yes.
Okay. No, I'm literally. I mean, you know, we say this about modern stuff.
Well, if you're talking about the book, it depends.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying though is we're talking about this, as you say, we're talking about shows from my childhood before you were even born. So you're repeating your case, right? 50, 60 years on, that people still talk about. That there's still channels on the and all. You know, people still read about. Just what I'm saying is, you know, that is how how much of an impression it had.
Yeah.
At the time. Nowadays, of course, what I'm saying is, we say this, you know, how many people are going to be, how many, I mean, I was watching Despot of Antrim because he was on Critical Drinkers stream.
Yeah.
He's open bar the other day, and I've seen a few of his, and he was doing one, and he's referring to, he's talking about Little Mermaid, and he started calling them what's he called them? LAM 17 live action Disney live action remake 17. He doesn't even bother referring to them by title because they're so forgettable. You know, how many people are going to even remember the Little Mermaid in a year's time? As I say, in 50 years' time, do you think people are still going to remember the Hunger Games and have watched it and enjoyed it and still be, you know?
Well, I've got a question because I know they're doing it with the Harry Potter series. Well, they're doing a Harry Potter TV series now, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to do the Hunger Games TV series?
I think it's funny. It's like a lot of these books would lend themselves to, I mean, Harry Potter, for example, would lend it to what now seems to be
that kicks it all off.
But I mean, Harry Potter, for example, would in some ways lend itself to what now seems to be the aim of a 7-year series.
Yeah.
Because of 7 books, although they crash one, you know, they'd have to sort things out. You could do the Hunger Games. You could do a lot of what you could do as a series. But again, the problem is as the books get bigger, you'd end up having to do a lot of sorting out. They would not make a number of seasons of the same length.
Good point.
Unless they'd have, or at least one season per book wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's why I've said June really would lend itself to a series, to a TV series.
Yeah, but June's already done a TV series, but they call it Children of the June.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying is, no, you said it. There were some that would. June would. I was massively disappointed with the Apple version of Foundation. It was a really good series, but it was not Foundation.
Right.
Because Foundation is the original Foundation trilogy is not suitable as thing. You could make it that again, something that would really be much more suitable to a TV series. Hunger Games, I don't know.
Right.
I mean, because
as long as you don't mention the word time, then we'll be all right. Because otherwise, I'll cut you off.
Right. PJ's not here, but Jim was in the chat earlier on, so I won't mention that out of sensitivity to them. Hey, I had to sit through it as well.
I didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Well, yeah, I don't. Frankly, first book has got me pretty interested now, right?
Good. Yeah.
Second book, I'm not going to rush read it. I'm not going to rush read it. I'm going to take my time with it because the first book I took my time.
Yeah.
I've been reading it since March.
Wow.
On and off, and it was. And when I was on holiday, I read most of it because, frankly, it was bugger all on the TV. We didn't fancy going over the hall and watching the entertainment, so I just, read the book before I went to bed.
Hey, I don't blame you, man. I mean, it's perfectly understandable. I tend to find that if a book grabs me, I mean, my mum, bless her, used to like to tell people that when I was at school, I missed the bus on at least one occasion because I had my head stuck in a book at the bus stop. Right.
Okay.
I did not learn to read until I went to school. Right, 5 years old.
Gotcha.
10 years old. Right? So unlike nowadays when there's a lot more preschool and the rest of it, it was the 60s. That's the way it was. Right.
Yeah.
When I was 10, I was assessed of having a reading age of 15. I grabbed onto the written word reading like a drowning man, I think, to a lot. I did. I find there are some books I get into and I will just read them and I'll just go through it and I'll start it and I'll keep going and I won't want to put it down. Others I can put down, pick up, put down, pick up, put down, pick up. We're all different, we all have different experiences, we'll have our own to use a whole modern phrase, our own lived experiences and all the rest of this cack. But it's true. We've all got our own ways, So, yeah, I mean, if you pick the book up, if it grabs you and you just don't want to put it down, great. If you can put it down, read it, absorb it, think about it, put it down again, that's equally good.
Well, going on holiday, I wanted to read the book on the train. Yeah. I was just trying to, start reading, and my cousin kept pissing me off. And then, I went, okay, let's talk. What did the dickhead do? He put his headphones on and freaking ignored me for the rest of the bloody journey.
Get back to the book then, yeah.
Well, we don't get back to my book because the thing is we kept playing seat hopping. And on the journey back, I wanted to sit down and read it. I just couldn't get all the way through it because there was people laughing in the background. It looked like they were on a day trip to the pub.
Well, yeah, it's one of the problems. I must admit. I mean, I always used to read when I used to go on a train. I'd always have a book.
Yeah, but next time on my trip next week, I'll probably go in the quiet carriage.
I say all these days an e-reader, of course, but yeah, why not? Yeah, it's the way to do it. Exactly. I mean, that's a good thing. Is this is a long trip. Reading is a great way to pass the time.
Yeah. Instead of being on my phone 24/7.
You're gonna. When you finished, are you going to go on and read the prequel as well?
I'm not sure yet because the thing is, I've looked for the prequel and I can't find a copy of it. So it's either they've sold out or they're waiting for another reprint because the film's coming out in November, in the fall.
I can hear Kelly shouting.
What's that?
The word library.
A library around my area? You kidding? They shut all the libraries down.
I say to that, I haven't been to a library for years myself.
There used to be a library up the road from me that I used to go to a lot. You know, I went in the kids section and just kept reading Thomas the Tank Engine books, and they did have Doctor Who books in there and all.
Yeah.
Because that was my third proper introduction into Doctor Who, really.
Well, how much do you read?
Not a lot. I like to write, but I don't read.
Okay, no, because I was going to say, is it worth you thinking about getting a second-hand e-reader or something?
I don't want to read on anything like that.
Okay.
The thing is, Colin, when I smoked, I used matches, right? I'm more of the old-fashioned stuff. And the thing is,
it's tactile. I can understand that. My mum was the same.
Yeah, I'd rather read a good book where you can turn the pages and not go, all the time.
No, fair enough. I was just thinking because, I mean, the main advantage is you can get so much more on them and there's so much more available that way. But okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I'd rather just read a good book, you can escape into. Because the thing is that, think of it this way, I know you're reading a book on your phone, right?
Yeah.
And next thing
that I can't do. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you get a phone call. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't read it. But no, that's fair enough. I mean, I do, but then I always used to like to read books. But as I said, I mean, I find there's more on there that you can get and it's easy to get stuff, but fair enough.
Well, the thing is, I'm a bit dubious at the moment when my book comes into full publication because it will be becoming an ebook. But I would like to get the feel of it actually being a book.
Well, yeah. Well, of course. I mean, there is a difference. There is a difference, obviously.
And judging by what we've done so far with it, and also what could come before and afterwards, frankly, we could fill up the entire wall of my books. Well, not my books, but the entire Gazuluman saga.
Well, yeah. Oh, but yeah.
And in the middle is my 5 books, and all about the place is everyone else's. Look, you're having a typing, are you? The thing is these days, Colin, is that sometimes you just can't get the sense, can you? The difference in terminology.
Sometimes.
So.
But I mean, the thing is, you enjoyed the book so much, you want to read the others. Are you gonna? You're gonna watch the films afterwards?
I'm gonna watch the entirety of the films afterwards.
Yeah, there you go. Then. Yep. I mean, and then you'll be in a. That's almost certainly the better way to do it because you've got your own ideas, and I say, then you've got your ideas. You think, okay, that wasn't a book.
That wasn't in the book. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's the only problem with doing it. That's the only problem, and it's going to happen either whichever way you do it. You say, okay, well, that wasn't a book. Well, that's different than the book. That's not how I imagine it. But then, if you read the book first, if you see the film first and read the book second, then you can go, well, don't remember that for TV series. Well, the same thing's going to happen.
I know, because the thing is with reading the book first, it really takes my imagination away, really. It's like, trying to come up with new ideas for other stories outside my Gazuluman saga. It's just trying to create these fantasy worlds. That's the main thing. So, but I'm going to ask you, Colin.
Go on.
Are you going to read the Hunger Games if you ever tried?
I might do, but I don't think I'm reading at the moment.
You've got plenty of time to read it at the moment, so.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting.
What's that?
Amazon have got the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Mm-hmm.
£4.75 for Kindle. £5 for paperback, but I think that must be second hand somehow. I'm not sure. What's it? But they appear to have got it on Amazon.co.uk.
I'm going to Waterstones to get my copies. I rather not order off of Amazon, thank you.
Well, yeah, there is this.
Yes, I've given up. Like, I'd rather go into a bookshop now these days and actually look at a book.
Into a bookshop in years. Yeah, I know what you mean. My son, I used to go up to up to Tottenham Court Road in London, and I'd go up and I'd get off at I got off at Tottenham Court Road and I walked up.
Yeah.
Eventually heading for Forbidden Planet, back was in Denmark, then when it moved.
To Shaftesbury Avenue, yeah, I know.
Yeah, and then because on the way up there was, I wish I could remember what it's called. But there was a book on the left. Going up, there were quite a few books up. So I went past Foyles. Was up there, but there was another book store on the left as I walked up Tottenham Court Road, and it was another one. It was similar to Forbidden Planet, but it was only books. And downstairs, if I remember right, downstairs was second hand, and upstairs was new, I think. And they had a lot of American books. Was sort of there and an FP. And I used to go up there every couple of months, and I haven't been in a very long time. But I know exactly. Yeah, I know what you mean. You know, walking into a bookshop. There used to be an Oxfam bookshop in Windsor. I think it's in Windsor, but they were quite expensive. Some of them were quite expensive, considering it was Oxfam, i.e., a charity. Because it was all books, but you had a lot of stuff. Obviously, as usual, it was what people had donated around the local area, the country, I don't know what. But they were quite expensive for a charity shop.
Yeah.
Somewhere, when I used to find British Heart Foundation, I always used to find them quite expensive for stuff.
Wow.
I haven't been in charity shops in quite a while now.
The thing is that I remember a place up in London that was a Japanese bookshop. Well, not Japanese, but they sold a lot of manga and all this and that, you know, figurines and everything. Great shame it's not there anymore. A lot of decent comic shops are disappearing recently.
I'm old enough to remember. I'm an old man, not to remember where you could go into Games Workshop.
Yeah, they're still knocking about.
And Games Workshop was exactly that. You got games there. You could get Dungeons and Dragons. I remember back when White Dwarf, the magazine, used to do. They would do an adventure scenario, and they would do it for Dungeons and Dragons. They do the same thing for RuneQuest. They do the same thing for I can't remember what the big one was. There was tons of stuff. But they do that. They would do scenarios for Traveller. They do lots of beast thing, best monster manual type things. You know, back when they used to be before they actually did before they became just their own outlet.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, nowadays you go into Games Workshop, and I don't think it's even called Games Workshop anymore. I think it's called Warhammer, isn't it now? I think it's called Warhammer Store or something now.
I haven't got a clue. I never got into it.
No, I think so. But Games Workshop was the company producing that. But I used to go. But yeah, as I said, I mean, way back in the day, there was that, and there was a similar series, similar chain of shops called Orc's Nest, and again, that was you get books. That was again games, figures, all sorts of things.
Well,
yeah, but nowadays it's all I see most of that's gone. Games Workshop have probably taken a lot of it over, and Games Workshop seem to be okay. What can we do to make the most money rather than make money while while having people happy and change as we go on. So
yeah. Well, I think we've really run out of things to say, haven't we, Colin?
feels like it. Yeah. Well, I mean, you've said you said what you wanted about the Hunger Games and that, and hopefully, if anybody hasn't read the books or seen the films, that might have
well, the thing is that at the moment is that I'm not going to watch the films. I'm going to keep continuing to read the books.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait until I've read, probably the prequel and all, then go into the films and see how,
I would suspect.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Wendy. I would suspect that, and I don't mean it in a bad way. I would suspect that the prequel will be a lot more film friendly
with the book
than the book, simply because the films would have come out and have been in people's consciousness, and so that'll come out.
So what you're saying is that the book of the prequel book would be more related to the film compared to
not necessarily. I'm just saying I know what you're saying. I don't think it would matter if you read. No, I'm saying you see the films. It probably doesn't matter if you see the films before you read the prequel. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think. Unless by the time you get there, they've got a film of the prequel out and you want to watch that first. I don't know, but I'm thinking that it's yes, exactly. I mean, there's a I've mentioned this a number of times, but there's a series by Jasper Ford, where basically a lot of it takes place within fiction, not the Doctor Who land of fiction, but the idea is fiction, and it takes place between the pages also, but. There's a really kind of line in that where they're talking about people imagining, and there's a bit in there where she mentions that the fiction universe is a bit complicated to understand, but long express. But Harry Potter, the Harry Potter from the books is getting pissed off because he's beginning to look more and more like Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh yeah, good point. You mentioned that to me ages ago.
Yeah, because the idea being that most of what you do in read a book goes on inside your head, but because of the films, people Radcliffe's face in their mind as Harry Potter.
And at the moment, Daniel Radcliffe is nothing like Harry Potter because he grew a beard and he's doing other parts now.
Yeah, but and Hermione's gone up to be an insufferable feminist, but we won't go down that line. But apparently the only person who seems to have actually maintained any sanity at all is Draco Malfoy. But the thing is that it's exactly that, is that when you read a book, most of what you think of goes inside your head. So if you read the books, that's what I'm saying. You read the books, then you see the films, it's fine. If you see the film before you read the next couple of books, you'll have the film inside your head. What I mean is the films with that, but I suspect that the prequel will have been written for people who have the Hunger Games films inside their heads, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
It probably won't affect it that much because it's written after films come out and films have been out for a while.
Yeah.
So you could probably say the films before you read that and not lose anything.
Okay. Well,
that's right anyway.
For the people who have just turned up, hi Wendy. Sorry to hear that you had to have a family emergency. What I'm going to say to everyone is that because we are going to be closing down, I have got to wear an oven glove to read this book. As I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, God. But anyhow, right, Colin, shall we shut down? Going to shut down now?
Why not?
Frankly, we'll be back on the 3rd of July, won't we?
I believe so.
Yeah, because we've not been planned, so it'd be me and you talking crap again. Also, what have we got coming up at the moment, or any other streams you're attending, Colin?
Well, I got PJ on Saturday. Possibly Nerd Father is on Friday.
So that's about it, I think. Yeah, but what about your other one? You know, the
next one's Friday week. They're every other Friday, so Castles and Crusades will be Friday week.
Cheers all. Seems to be better with the family tonight. We hope.
Yeah. We'll find out if I survive a bite from a bloody rat, which is all there because one out of goddamn players, not the character. No, you need to listen to the stream to get that one.
Yes,
but these things.
Colin, do I hear music?
I don't know. I don't, but you got the controls.
I think I can hear music. What about you?
Oh, that. No, still can't hear a thing. Yes, okay. Yes, I can.
You stupid boy. But, okay, all I can say now is that anyone watching the catch-up, I recommend it, but the thing is, give it a try if you want. So no pressure, all right?
That's all we can ever say.
Anything you want to add?
Not really, no.
Okay, well, it's good night from me, Mr. A.W.K.
And it's good night from him.
Take care, everybody. Enjoy your week, and hopefully see you on Saturday at PJ's. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.